Jake Morrison wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stared at the strange readings on his tablet. The mining drill had been running for 3 hours straight, but something was wrong. The rock should have cracked by now. Instead, the drill bit was barely making a scratch on whatever they had found down there. "Amy, come take a look at this," Jake called to his systems technician. Amy Rodriguez hurried over, her boots clanking on the metal floor of the mining platform. "What's the problem, boss?" Amy asked, looking at the drill's display screen. Her eyes went wide when she saw the numbers. "That can't be right. The drill is running at full power, but it's not cutting through anything." Jake nodded grimly. "That's what I thought, too. We've been drilling asteroids for 5 years, and I've never seen anything like this." The mining colony on Series 7 was small but efficient. 53 people worked and lived on the converted asteroid, pulling precious metals from the rock to send back to Earth. Jake had been the chief mining engineer for 2 years, and he knew every sound the equipment made. Today, something was different. "Maybe we hit some kind of super hard metal," Amy suggested. She pulled up the scanner readings on her own device. "Look at this. The material down there is giving off some kind of energy signature." Jake frowned. In all his years of mining, he had never seen energy readings like these. The numbers kept changing, almost like the material was alive somehow. "We need to tell Lisa about this," Jake said. Lisa Hart was the colonial administrator, and she made all the big decisions for Series 7. They found Lisa in the command center, reviewing supply reports. She looked up when Jake and Amy walked in, immediately noticing their worried expressions. "What's wrong?" Lisa asked. "Don't tell me the drill broke down again." "Worse," Jake said. He handed her his tablet. "We found something strange down in Sector 7. The drill can't cut through it, and it's giving off energy readings I've never seen before." Lisa studied the data for a long moment. She had been running mining operations for 10 years, first on Luna and now here at Series 7. She had seen plenty of unusual rock formations, but nothing like this. "How deep is it?" she asked. "About 300 meters down," Amy replied. "But here's the weird part. The energy readings get stronger when the drill touches it. It's like the material is reacting to our equipment." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Pete needs to see this," she said. Pete Collins was head of security for the colony. If they had found something potentially dangerous, he needed to know right away. 20 minutes later, all 4 of them stood around the drill site. The HTX 9000 plasma drill was still running, its powerful beam focused on the mysterious material below. Pete Collins watched the readings with growing concern. "I don't like this," Pete said. He was a former military man who had come to Series 7 looking for a quiet retirement. "Energy signatures like this could mean we're dealing with some kind of alien technology." "Alien?" Amy laughed. "Come on, Pete. In 30 years of deep space mining, nobody has ever found anything like that." Pete didn't smile back. "There's a first time for everything." Jake made a decision. "Let's increase the drill power and see what happens. Maybe we just need more force to break through." "Are you sure that's safe?" Lisa asked. "We're miners," Jake replied. "When something won't break, we hit it harder." Amy adjusted the drill controls, pushing the power up to maximum. The plasma beam grew brighter and hotter. For a moment, nothing changed. Then something incredible happened. The energy readings spiked dramatically. The drill beam suddenly changed color, shifting from blue-white to a brilliant golden yellow. Instead of barely scratching the surface, the beam began cutting through the mysterious material like butter. "What the hell?" Pete muttered. "The drill," Is working now, Amy said, staring at her instruments in amazement. But look at these power readings. The drill is somehow producing 3 times its normal output. Jake watched the display in fascination. The golden beam was cutting through not just the strange material, but also the regular asteroid rock around it. In minutes, they had carved out a chamber 3 times larger than what the drill should have been able to manage. Something down. There is boosting our equipment, Jake realized. The alien material isn't just reacting to the drill, it's making the drill stronger. Lisa grabbed her communication device. I'm calling Earth Command. They need to know about this immediately. Wait, Pete said. Maybe we should be careful about who we tell. If this is really alien technology, and if it can make our tools more powerful, a lot of people are going to want it. What are you saying? Lisa asked. I'm saying that right now, we're the only ones who know about this. Once word gets out, we might have visitors. And they might not all be friendly. Amy was still watching her instruments. The energy signature is getting stronger. It's like the material is waking up or something. Jake made another decision. We keep drilling, but carefully. Amy, I want you to record everything. Every reading, every change, every reaction. If this thing is really alien technology, we need to understand how it works. And if it's dangerous? Pete asked. Jake looked at the golden beam cutting through, solid rock like it was soft clay. Then we better figure out how to control it before someone else does. Lisa nodded slowly. I'll contact Earth Command, but I'll be vague about the details for now. We need time to study this thing. Good call, Pete agreed. But we should also be ready for anything. If I've learned one thing in my career, it's that when you find something this unusual, trouble usually follows. Amy suddenly looked up from her instruments. Guys, you need to see this. The drill just broke through into some kind of chamber, and there's something big down there. They all crowded around her display screen. The scanner was showing a large, hollow space beneath them, and in the center of that space was an object unlike anything they had ever seen. It was definitely artificial, with smooth curves and strange symbols carved into its surface. That's not natural, Lisa whispered. No, Jake agreed. That's definitely alien. And our drill just became 100 times more powerful the moment it touched it. Pete checked his sidearm automatically. This just got a lot more complicated. As they stared at the readings, none of them could know that their discovery would soon change everything. The mining drill that had seemed so ordinary just hours before was about to become the most important weapon in human history. And somewhere, in the depths of space, ancient sensors were already detecting the energy signature of their awakened technology. The alien ships appeared without warning 3 days after they found the artifact. Amy Rodriguez was the first to spot them on the long-range scanners during her morning shift in the communications center. Lisa, you need to get up here right now. Amy's voice crackled over the intercom, barely hiding her panic. Lisa Hart rushed to the communications center, still pulling on her jacket. When she saw the scanner display, her blood ran cold. 5 massive ships hung in space just beyond the asteroid belt, unlike anything in Earth's databases. How long have they been there? Lisa asked. They just appeared, Amy replied. No warning. No engine signatures, nothing. 1 second the scanners were clear, and the next second these things were just there. Lisa stared at the alien vessels. Each one was easily 10 times larger than the biggest Earth warship. Their hulls were smooth and dark, with no visible weapons or engines. They looked more like giant pieces of living coral than spaceships. Get Jake and Pete up here immediately, Lisa ordered, and send an emergency message to Earth Command. Within minutes, Jake Morrison and Pete Collins were studying the scanner readings alongside them. Pete's military training kicked in as he analyzed the alien formation. "They're positioned to block all our escape routes," Pete observed grimly. "This isn't a friendly visit." Jake was more interested in the energy readings the scanners were picking up. "Look at the power signatures on those ships. They're off the charts, way beyond anything we have." A new voice suddenly filled the communications center. It was deep, mechanical, and spoke perfect English with no emotion at all. "Humans of the mining station, you have disturbed something that belongs to us. Prepare to surrender the Nexus core immediately." Lisa grabbed the microphone with shaking hands. "This is Administrator Lisa Hart of Series 7 Mining Colony. We are a peaceful civilian operation. We don't know what a Nexus core is. Do not lie to us, human. Our sensors detect the core's activation. You have been using primitive tools to interact with technology far beyond your understanding," Amy whispered to the others. "They must mean the artifact, and they know about our drill." The alien voice continued. "I am Commander Vex of the Dominion Fleet. The object you call an artifact is a Nexus core, created by our ancestors thousands of years ago. Your species is not worthy to possess such technology." Jake stepped forward. "We found it by accident during normal mining operations. We didn't know it belonged to anyone. Ignorance is not an excuse. You will return the core to us within 48 of your hours, or we will take it from your lifeless station." The communication cut off abruptly, leaving the four humans staring at each other in stunned silence. "Well," Pete said finally, "I guess we know why the energy readings were so unusual." Lisa was already working on her computer, trying to establish contact with Earth Command. "Even if we send a distress signal right now, it'll take days for any help to reach us. We're on our own." "What about Captain Burke?" Amy suggested. "Wasn't his patrol scheduled to pass through this sector?" Lisa's eyes lit up. "You're right. The Earth Defense Force cruiser should be less than 6 hours away." She quickly sent out an emergency signal on military frequencies. Captain Ryan Burke received the distress call while his ship was investigating unusual asteroid activity 2 systems over. His crew of 35 was experienced but lightly armed. The EDF cruiser Liberty was designed for patrol duties, not major combat operations. "Set course for Series 7 maximum speed," Burke ordered his navigator, "and get me everything we have on alien contact protocols." Dr. Helen Shaw, the ship's xenoarchaeologist, joined Burke on the bridge. "I've been studying the data from the mining colony. If they really found a functioning alien artifact, this could be the most important discovery in human history." "That won't matter if we're all dead," Burke replied grimly. "Look at the size of those ships on the scanner. 5 vessels, each one bigger than anything in our fleet." Commander Troy Adams, the ship's alien contact specialist, was reviewing the recorded communication from Commander Vex. "The Dominion," he mused. "I've never heard that name before, but their technology is clearly superior to ours." When the Liberty arrived at Series 7, Burke immediately understood how hopeless their situation was. The 5 Dominion ships were massive, dark monsters that made his cruiser look like a toy. Worse, his ship's weapons officer reported that the alien vessels had some kind of energy shields that would probably stop anything they could throw at them. Burke contacted the mining station. "Administrator Hart, this is Captain Burke. We're here to help, but I have to be honest with you. My ship isn't equipped to fight something like this." "We appreciate you coming, Captain," Lisa replied. "But we might have found something that could help us." Jake Morrison had spent the last 3 days studying the alien artifact and its interaction with their mining equipment. What he had discovered was both exciting and terrifying. The artifact doesn't just boost our drill's power, Jake explained to Burke over the video link. It seems to amplify any human technology that touches it. But only human technology. Dr. Shaw leaned forward with interest. What do you mean, only human? Amy pulled up her test results. We tried connecting some alien components we had in storage. Nothing happened, but every piece of human equipment we've tested gets a massive power boost when it interfaces with the artifact. Why would that be? Burke asked. I have a theory, Dr. Shaw said slowly. Human technology is built differently than what we've seen from other species. We tend to use brute force approaches, high-energy solutions. Most alien tech we've encountered is more elegant, more efficient. Jake nodded. Exactly. Our mining drill works by blasting rock with raw plasma energy. It's not subtle, but it gets the job done. When the artifact boosted that energy, it became something incredible. Pete Collins had been thinking like a soldier. If the artifact can make our drill more powerful, what would it do to our weapons? Burke understood immediately. You want to weaponize mining equipment? It's our only chance, Lisa said. These Dominion ships have shields that can probably stop conventional weapons, but if we can boost our power output, it's crazy enough that it might work, Burke admitted. But we only have one ship, and limited weapons. Jake smiled for the first time in days. Captain, you're forgetting something. This is a mining colony. We have lots of equipment that uses high-energy systems. Cutting lasers, plasma torches, rock crushers, all designed to break things apart using maximum force. Human engineering at its finest, Amy added. When we can't solve a problem with finesse, we solve it with bigger hammers. Burke made his decision. All right, we have less than 36 hours before their deadline. Let's see if we can turn mining tools into ship killers. Dr. Shaw was studying the energy readings from the artifact. There's something else we should consider. If this Nexus core responds specifically to human technology, maybe it was meant for us. What do you mean? Lisa asked. I mean, maybe the aliens who built it knew that someday a species like humans would find it. A species that builds tools designed for maximum power instead of maximum efficiency. Pete checked his watch. Well, we're about to find out if human stubbornness can beat alien superiority. As the countdown to the Dominion ultimatum continued, the small group of humans began planning something that had never been attempted before. They were going to take peaceful mining equipment and turn it into weapons of war. It was exactly the kind of impossible, reckless plan that only humans would even consider. Jake Morrison hadn't slept in 20 hours, but his hands were steady as he connected the alien artifact to the mining station's main power grid. Amy Rodriguez watched nervously as energy readings spiked across every monitor in the engineering. Hey, are you sure this won't blow up the entire station? Amy asked for the third time. No, Jake replied honestly. But if we don't try this, the Dominion will blow us up anyway. Captain Burke watched from the main screen as Jake worked. The Earth Defense Force officer had moved his ship closer to the mining station, but both vessels were still hopelessly outgunned by the 5 alien warships waiting in the darkness. Talk me through what you're doing, Jake, Burke said. Jake wiped sweat from his forehead. The artifact seems to work by reading the energy patterns of human technology. Then it amplifies those patterns by creating some kind of resonance field. Dr. Helen Shaw studied the readings from her position on Burke's ship. It's like the artifact understands the brute force approach that humans use. Instead of trying to make our technology more efficient, it just makes it more powerful. Which is exactly what we need right now, Pete Collins added. He had spent the last day checking every weapon on both the mining station and Burke's ship. The results were not encouraging. Amy pulled up a holographic display showing the Dominion ships. Their shields can probably stop anything we throw at them with normal weapons, but if we can boost our power output by 3 or 4 times, we might actually hurt them, Burke finished. The question is, how do we get our weapons close enough to matter? Jake had been thinking about this problem all night. We don't take the weapons to them. We bring them to us. What do you mean? Lisa, Hart asked. She had been coordinating with Earth Command, but help was still days away. The Dominion ships are going to come here to take the artifact, Jake explained. When they do, we'll be ready with weapons they don't expect. Pete nodded slowly. An ambush. Use the asteroid field for cover and hit them with everything we've got. But what weapons? Burke asked. My ship has some plasma cannons, but nothing that could seriously damage ships that size. Jake smiled grimly. Captain, you're thinking like a military man. Think like a miner instead. Amy caught on first. The industrial equipment. We have plasma cutters designed to slice through solid metal, rock crushers that can pulverize asteroids, and the HTX 9000 drill that started all this. Exactly, Jake said. Human mining equipment is built to destroy things efficiently. With the artifact's power boost, we can turn them into weapons that no alien would ever expect. Dr. Shaw was fascinated. Other species probably develop technology in a more balanced way. Humans seem to specialize in tools that break things apart using maximum force. It's the human way, Pete agreed. When we can't cut through something, we get a bigger saw. When we can't break something, we get a bigger hammer. Burke was starting to understand. So instead of trying to fight them with proper weapons, we fight them with industrial tools that happen to be incredibly destructive. Right, Jake said. And the best part is they won't see it coming. What military planner would expect to be attacked by mining equipment? Amy was already working on the technical details. We can mount the plasma cutters on the mining platforms and connect them to the artifact's power grid. The rock crushers can be modified to fire debris at high velocity. What about the HTX 9000? Lisa asked. Jake looked at the massive drilling platform with admiration. That's going to be our main weapon. With the artifact's boost, it can cut through anything. Over the next 18 hours, the small human force worked frantically to turn their peaceful mining colony into a fortress. The artifact's strange energy flowed through every system, making their equipment far more powerful than it was ever designed to be. Captain Burke moved his ship into position among the asteroids, hiding behind chunks of rock while his crew modified their weapons systems. I never thought I'd be fighting aliens with mining equipment, he muttered. Commander Troy Adams was monitoring Dominion communications. They're getting impatient. I'm picking up increased chatter between their ships. Let them come, Pete said. He had positioned himself at the main weapons console, ready to coordinate their makeshift defenses. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Dr. Shaw made an interesting discovery while studying the artifact's energy patterns. I think I understand why this works for humans but not other species. Look at the way our technology operates. She showed them a comparison on her screen. Human tools are designed for maximum output, even if it's inefficient. We build plasma cutters that use 10 times more energy than they need to, just to make sure they can cut through anything. Most alien technology we've encountered is the opposite, she continued. Elegant, efficient, using exactly the right amount of energy for the job. But the artifact doesn't respond to that approach. Jake nodded. It's like the artifact was designed by someone who thought like humans. Someone who believed in using overwhelming force to solve problems. Or maybe, Amy suggested quietly, it was designed for humans specifically. The idea sent chills through everyone. Could an ancient alien race have created this artifact knowing that humans would eventually find it? And if so, why? They didn't have time to think about it. Commander Vex's voice suddenly filled the communication center again. Humans, your time has expired. Prepare to surrender the Nexus core or face the consequences. Lisa grabbed the microphone. Commander Vex, we need more time to extract the artifact safely. It's buried deep in the asteroid. You have had sufficient time. We are moving to take the core by force. The 5 Dominion ships began moving toward Series 7, their massive hulls blocking out the stars. Burke watched them approach on his scanners, noting their formation and speed. They're being careful, he observed. Staying in tight formation shields up. They respect human unpredictability even if they don't respect our technology. Jake made final adjustments to the artifact's power distribution. All weapons are connected and ready. Power levels are stable at 400% of normal. 400%? Burke whistled. That plasma cutter is going to pack quite a punch. Amy was monitoring the approaching ships. They're coming in slow and steady, classic military approach. Pete smiled coldly. Good. That means they're not expecting anything unusual. The Dominion ships entered the asteroid field, moving carefully between the floating rocks. Their sensors were focused on the mining station, looking for defensive weapons and shield generators. They weren't looking for industrial equipment that had been turned into improvised weapons. Wait for my signal, Pete commanded. Let them get close enough that they can't miss us and we can't miss them. Jake watched the lead ship approach the mining station. It was massive and intimidating, but he felt strangely calm. In his hands was the control for the HTX 9000 drill, now modified with the artifact's power and aimed directly at the alien vessel. Human engineering versus alien superiority, he muttered. Let's see who wins. The first Dominion ship was only 500 meters away when Pete Collins gave the order to fire. Now! He shouted into his headpiece. Jake Morrison squeezed the trigger on the modified HTX 9000 drill. The golden beam that erupted from the mining platform was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Instead of the usual blue-white plasma, the artifact-boosted drill fired a brilliant yellow-gold energy lance that stretched across space like a sword of light. The beam hit the lead Dominion ship's shields and didn't even slow down. It punched through the alien barrier like it was made of paper and carved a massive hole clean through the ship's hull. Direct hit! Amy Rodriguez yelled from her monitoring station. Their shields didn't even register the impact. The alien ship shuddered and began venting atmosphere. Emergency lights flickered along its hull as it tried to compensate for the damage. But Jake wasn't finished. He tracked the beam across the ship's length, cutting it nearly in half. Captain Burke watched in amazement from his hidden position. I can't believe that actually worked. The other 4 Dominion ships immediately broke formation, their commanders clearly shocked by what had just happened. Commander Vex's voice crackled over the communications channel, no longer calm and mechanical. Impossible. Human weapons cannot penetrate Dominion shields. Surprise, Lisa Hart replied grimly. Human weapons just did. The second wave of attacks came from the modified mining platforms scattered throughout the asteroid field. Plasma cutters designed to slice through metal now fired concentrated beams at the alien vessels. Rock crushers hurled chunks of asteroid. At incredible velocity, each projectile boosted by the artifact's energy field. Sam Tucker, captain of the cargo hauler Iron Horse, had volunteered to pilot his converted ship into battle. His vessel wasn't pretty, just a basic cargo frame with mining equipment bolted onto it, but it was fast and maneuverable. "This is Iron Horse moving to attack position," Sam reported over the radio. His ship darted between asteroids using its small size to avoid the Dominion weapons. Maria Santos, his combat engineer, was operating a modified plasma torch mounted on the ship's bow. "Target acquired. Firing." The plasma torch, boosted by a portable artifact fragment, fired a thin but incredibly hot beam at the nearest Dominion ship. The beam burned through the alien hull like a laser through butter, causing secondary explosions. As it hit internal systems, Tony Blake had been a drill operator until yesterday. Now he was manning the weapons console on another converted cargo ship, the Rock Crusher. His vessel was armed with 3 modified mining drills and a railgun that normally fired mining charges. "Come on, you alien bastards," Tony muttered as he lined up his shot. "Let's see how you like human engineering." The battle quickly became chaotic. The Dominion ships were larger and more heavily armed, but they had been designed to fight conventional space battles. They weren't prepared for human ships that attacked like angry wasps, darting in and out of the asteroid field while firing impossibly powerful industrial weapons. Captain Burke finally brought his EDF cruiser into the fight. His ship's weapons had been connected to an artifact fragment, boosting their power far beyond military specifications. "All weapons, fire at will," Burke commanded. The Liberty's plasma cannons fired streams of golden energy that tore through Dominion shields. Like they weren't even there. For the first time in the battle, the aliens were facing proper military weapons. Just weapons that had been made impossibly powerful by human-alien hybrid technology. Commander Vex was trying to coordinate his fleet's response, but nothing in. Dominion military doctrine had prepared them for this kind of battle. Their opponents were using crude, primitive weapons that somehow outperformed the most advanced Dominion technology. "How are they generating such power levels?" Vex demanded over the fleet communications channel. "Unknown, Commander," one of his officers replied. "Their weapons appear to be industrial equipment modified for combat use." Industrial equipment? Vex couldn't believe what he was hearing. "They're attacking us with mining tools?" "Affirmative, Commander. And those mining tools are somehow more effective than our military weapons." Jake Morrison was having the time of his life. The HTX 9000 drill was performing beyond his wildest dreams, cutting through alien warships like they were made of soft rock. Each shot punched completely through the target, leaving massive holes that vented atmosphere and caused internal fires. "Amy, how are our power levels?" he called. "Holding steady," Amy replied. She was monitoring the artifact's energy output, making sure their improvised weapons grid stayed stable. "The artifact seems to like what we're doing. Power output is actually increasing." Dr. Helen Shaw, watching from Burke's ship, made a fascinating observation. "The artifact isn't just boosting our weapons, it's adapting to them, learning how to make them even more effective." "Like it wants us to win," Burke agreed. The tide of battle was clearly turning in favor of the humans. 2 of the Dominion ships were already severely damaged, their hulls riddled with holes from human mining equipment. A 3rd ship was trying to retreat but found its path blocked by Sam Tucker's Iron Horse. "Where do you think you're going?" Sam asked cheerfully as he opened fire with his plasma torch. The beam sliced through the alien ship's engines, leaving it dead in space. Pete Collins coordinated the final attack from the mining station's command center. All units, focus fire on the remaining command ship. Let's finish this. The remaining Dominion vessels tried to form a defensive formation, but it was too late. Human weapons fired from every direction. From the mining station, from Burke's cruiser, from converted cargo ships, even from hidden weapon platforms mounted on asteroids. Commander Vex watched in disbelief as his flagship's shields failed under the assault from what appeared to be common mining equipment. The golden beams that tore through his ship's hull were more powerful than anything in the Dominion arsenal. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They're using primitive technology." His tactical officer had a different perspective. "Commander, perhaps their technology isn't primitive. Perhaps it's simply different." The last Dominion ship finally succumbed to the human assault. Its hull cracked open like an egg, spilling debris and atmosphere into space. Commander Vex's flagship drifted powerless among the asteroids, its weapons silent and its engines dead. "This is Commander Vex of the Dominion fleet," came the transmission. We surrender." A cheer went up from every human vessel and station in the asteroid field. They had done the impossible, defeated a technologically superior alien fleet, using nothing but mining equipment and human stubbornness. Lisa Hart opened a channel to the Dominion commander. "Commander Vex, this is Administrator Hart. We accept your surrender. Please prepare to be boarded." "How?" Vex asked, his mechanical voice now carrying a note of genuine confusion. "How did primitive mining tools defeat Dominion military technology?" Jake Morrison answered for all of them. "Because they're not just mining tools, Commander. In human hands, everything is a weapon. We just needed to figure out how to make them work." Dr. Shaw added her own observation. "Commander, I think your ancestors knew exactly what they were doing when they created that artifact. They made it specifically for a species that would approach technology the way humans do. With maximum force and minimum subtlety," Amy laughed. Pete Collins was already thinking about the implications. "Word of this is going to spread throughout the galaxy. Every alien species is going to know that humans turned mining equipment into ship killers." Captain Burke nodded grimly. "We just changed humanity's reputation in the galaxy. We're no longer just another primitive species. We're the species that can turn anything into a weapon." As the human ships moved to secure the battlefield and rescue Dominion survivors, Jake Morrison looked at his mining drill with new respect. Just days ago, it had been a simple tool for extracting metals from asteroids. Now it was the weapon that had saved humanity and announced to the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. The age of human ingenuity had begun. 3 months after the battle at Series 7, Jake Morrison was still trying to get used to being famous. The man who had turned a mining drill into a ship killer was now known throughout human space, and apparently beyond it as well. Another delegation. "Wants to visit the mining station?" Lisa Hart told him as she entered the engineering bay. "This time it's the Centaurian Trade Federation." Jake sighed and wiped his hands on a greasy rag. "Let me guess. They want to buy mining equipment." "They want to buy what they're calling human industrial defense systems," Lisa corrected with a smile. "Though we both know what they really mean." The victory over the Dominion fleet had spread throughout the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, every major alien civilization knew the story of how humans had defeated superior technology using modified mining tools. The reaction had been immediate and dramatic. Captain Ryan Burke visited Series 7 regularly now. His ship, the Liberty, had been upgraded with permanently installed artifact fragments, making it one of the most powerful vessels in Earth's fleet. Today he brought news from Earth Command. The military wants to mass-produce artifact-enhanced weapons, Burke explained to the small group gathered in the mining station's conference room. They're calling it the Nexus Project. Dr. Helen Shaw, who had taken permanent residence on Series 7 to study the artifact, looked troubled. I'm not sure that's wise, Captain. The artifact seems to respond specifically to human approaches to technology. Mass production might not work the same way. Amy Rodriguez had become the galaxy's leading expert on human-alien technology integration. Dr. Shaw is right. The artifact doesn't just boost power output. It reads the intent behind human technology. Our tools work because we build them to solve problems through brute force. And aliens don't? Burke asked. Not the same way, Amy explained. We've tested equipment from 12 different species now. None of it gets the same boost that human technology does. We're the only ones who build things with the philosophy of if it doesn't work, hit it harder. Pete Collins had been promoted to security chief for the entire sector after the battle. His job now was dealing with the constant stream of visitors who wanted to see the famous mining station. Speaking of visitors, Pete said, we have another delegation arriving tomorrow. The Altarian Science Council wants to study our primitive but effective approach to technology. Jake laughed. Primitive but effective. I kind of like that. The artifact itself had grown more responsive over the months. Amy's latest tests showed that it was somehow learning from its interaction with human technology. The power boosts it provided were becoming more refined, more targeted to each specific tool or weapon. It's like the artifact is becoming more human, Amy observed. Or maybe it's teaching us to become more like whoever built it originally. Dr. Shaw had her own theory about the artifact's creators. I think they were facing the same kind of situation we were. Outnumbered, outgunned, forced to improvise with whatever tools they had available. So they built the artifact to help species like them, Lisa concluded. Species that fight with ingenuity instead of superior technology. Species that turn mining drills into weapons, Jake added with a grin. The communication console chimed, with an incoming message from deep space. Pete answered it, then turned to the others with surprise on his face. It's a Dominion ship, he announced. Commander Vex wants to speak with us. The main screen flickered to life, showing the familiar mechanical features of the Dominion commander. But something was different about Vex now. He seemed less rigid, more thoughtful. Administrator Hart, Chief Morrison, Vex said formally. I hope you are well. We're fine, Commander, Lisa replied carefully. What can we do for you? I come with a request from the Dominion Council. We wish to learn from your approach to technology. Jake nearly fell out of his chair. You want to learn from us? The battle at Series 7 has changed Dominion thinking about warfare and technology. We have always believed that advanced technology must be elegant and efficient. You have shown us that crude but powerful technology can be equally effective. Dr. Shaw leaned forward with interest. What exactly are you asking for? We wish to establish a technology exchange program. Dominion engineering knowledge in return for human practical applications. Pete was suspicious. Why should we trust you? Vex's mechanical face showed what might have been embarrassment. Because, Security Chief Collins, you have taught us something important. In a galaxy full of species with advanced technology, sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one who refuses to follow the rules. Amy had been monitoring alien communications for months. He's not the only one, you know. Half the galaxy is scared of us now. They're calling humans the weapon makers, the species that can turn anything into a tool of war. And the other half wants to hire us, Burke added. Earth Command is getting requests for human military advisors from dozens of different civilizations. Lisa looked around the room at her small group of humans who had accidentally changed the balance of power in the galaxy. So what do we do? With all this attention? Jake stood up and walked over to his beloved HTX 9000 drilling platform. The machine that had started it all sat quietly in the corner, looking like exactly what it was, a piece of industrial mining equipment. But everyone in the galaxy now knew that in human hands, it was so much more. We keep doing what we've always done, Jake said finally. We solve problems with the tools we have available. We build things that work, even if they're not pretty. And when someone tells us something is impossible, we prove them wrong. Amy was already working on new projects. I've been experimenting with construction equipment. Did you know that a concrete mixer, properly modified, can fire projectiles at nearly light speed? And I've been looking at food preparation systems, Dr. Shaw added. Some of those industrial ovens could probably melt through ship hulls if properly focused. Pete shook his head in amazement. You people are certifiably insane, and that's exactly why the galaxy should be worried about us. Captain Burke checked his communication device. Speaking of the galaxy being worried, I just received orders from Earth Command. They want me to escort a delegation of human engineers to the Rigel system. Apparently, the locals are having trouble with some space pirates, and they specifically requested human industrial solutions. Industrial solutions? Lisa repeated. I love how that's become code for weapons we jury-rigged from civilian equipment. Jake walked back to the conference table where the alien artifact sat in its containment field. The mysterious device pulsed with gentle golden light, as if it was pleased with how things had turned out. You know what I think? Jake said. I think whoever built this thing would be proud of us. We took their gift and used it exactly the way they intended, to level the playing field against supposedly superior enemies. By turning everyday tools into instruments of war, Amy agreed. By refusing to be intimidated by advanced technology, Dr. Shaw added. By being typically stubbornly human, Pete concluded. Commander Vex was still on the screen, patiently waiting for their answer about the technology exchange. Lisa turned back to him with a decision made. Commander, we'll consider your proposal. But you should understand something about humans first. What is that, Administrator Hart? We don't just build weapons, we build solutions. If you want to learn from us, you have to be prepared to think differently about everything. Because to humans, there's no such thing as just a tool. In the right situation, with the right modifications, anything can become exactly what you need it to be. Vex nodded slowly. Including a mining drill. Especially a mining drill, Jake corrected with a smile. As the communication ended and the alien delegation requests continued to pile up, the small group of humans on Series 7 mining station continued their work. They had accidentally become the most feared and respected species in the galaxy, all because they had approached an ancient alien artifact with the most human trait of all, the absolute certainty that any problem could be solved if you just hit it with enough force. The age of human ingenuity was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. 6 months had passed since the Series 7 incident, and Jake Morrison was beginning to understand that winning a battle was sometimes easier than dealing with the aftermath. The small mining station had become the most visited location in human space and Jake was starting to miss the days when his biggest worry was fixing broken drill bits. "Another ship just entered the system," Amy Rodriguez announced from her monitoring station. "That makes 15 this week." Lisa Hart looked up from the pile of diplomatic requests covering her desk. "Please tell me it's not another trade delegation wanting to buy human defense solutions." "Worse," Amy replied with a grimace. "It's a Vegan Empire battlecruiser, and they're broadcasting on military frequencies." Pete Collins immediately moved to his security console. Even after all these months, his military training made him suspicious of unexpected visitors. "What do they want?" The answer came quickly. A stern alien voice filled the communications center, speaking accented but clear English. "Human mining station, this is Admiral Krell of the Vegan Imperial Navy. We request immediate audience with the warrior Jake Morrison." Jake nearly choked on his coffee. "Warrior, I'm a mining engineer." Dr. Helen Shaw, who had been studying alien cultural databases, looked up with interest. "The Vegans are a warrior culture. They probably see your victory over the Dominion as a great military achievement." "Because turning a drill into a weapon is apparently the height of strategic thinking," Jake muttered. Lisa opened a communication channel. "Admiral Krell, this is Administrator Hart. Chief Morrison is available to speak with you." "Excellent. We are sending a shuttle to your station immediately. Please prepare suitable honors for a meeting between warriors." Pete looked at Jake with amusement. "Suitable honors? Should I break out the fancy coffee?" "This isn't funny," Jake protested. "I don't know how to talk to alien military commanders." "Just be yourself," Dr. Shaw suggested. "Tell them the truth about how you approach problems." An hour later, Admiral Krell strode into the mining station's conference room. The Vegan was nearly 7 feet tall, covered in thick gray skin, and wore a uniform decorated with enough medals to stock a trophy shop. He looked like he could bench press a shuttle. "Warrior Morrison," Krell said formally, offering what looked like a military salute. "I bring greetings from the Vegan Empire and a request for your wisdom." Jake glanced helplessly at the others before responding. Thank you, Admiral. But I'm not really a warrior. I'm just a guy who fixes mining equipment." Krell's 4 eyes widened in what might have been surprise. "You are modest. This is a good quality in a great warrior." Amy tried to help. "Admiral, perhaps you could tell us why you've come here?" "The Vegan Empire faces a problem that requires human thinking," Krell explained. "For 3 years, we have fought the Crystalline Collective. Their ships are made of living crystal that repairs itself. Our weapons damage them, but they heal faster than we can destroy them." Dr. Shaw leaned forward with interest. "Living crystal? That's fascinating from a scientific perspective." "It is frustrating from a military perspective," Krell replied grimly. "We have the finest weapons in the galaxy, but they are useless against an enemy that heals itself." Jake was starting to understand. "So you want a human solution?" "We want a solution that thinks like human technology. Something that damages faster than they can heal." Pete grinned. "You want something that hits harder and keeps hitting." "Exactly." Krell's massive face showed what might have been enthusiasm. "Vegan weapons are precise and efficient. We strike exactly where we need to strike with exactly the force required. But against the Crystalline Collective, this approach fails." Amy was already thinking like an engineer. "What you need is sustained damage output, something that keeps breaking things faster than they can fix themselves. Like a mining operation," Jake realized. "We don't just break rock once. We keep breaking it until there's nothing left to break." Dr. Shaw pulled up data on her tablet. The Vegans aren't the only ones having this problem. I've been monitoring galactic communications. At least 6 different species are struggling with enemies that have regenerative technology. Lisa saw the bigger picture. And they're all coming to us because we're the only species that builds tools designed for continuous, overwhelming destruction. Human. Industrial philosophy. Amy agreed. If something needs to be broken, we build machines that will keep breaking it until the job is done. Admiral Krell nodded vigorously. This is exactly what we need. Vegan weapons are designed to kill efficiently. Human weapons are designed to keep killing until nothing remains. Jake stood up and walked over to his beloved HTX 9000 drilling platform. Admiral, this machine was designed to cut through solid rock for hours at a time without stopping. It doesn't just make one hole and quit. It keeps drilling until there's no more rock to drill. And with the artifact enhancement, Amy added, it can drill through anything and keep drilling. Krell studied the mining drill with the attention of a military expert examining a new weapon. How quickly could you adapt this technology for space combat? That depends, Jake replied. Are you willing to let us modify your ships? If it means victory over the Crystalline Collective, I will let you rebuild our entire fleet. Pete whistled softly. Jake, I think you just got yourself a job as a military contractor. I'm still not a warrior, Jake protested. Dr. Shaw had been researching the Crystalline Collective on her computer. Actually, Jake, from the Vegan perspective, you might be the greatest warrior they've ever encountered. Look at this. She showed them data about vegan military history. Vegans value tactical innovation above everything else. Their greatest heroes aren't just brave fighters, they're warriors who found new ways to win battles. And you literally invented a new type of warfare, Lisa pointed out. Industrial combat using civilian equipment. Admiral Krell was examining the artifact in its containment field. This device chooses to work with human technology? It seems to respond to our approach to problem solving, Dr. Shaw explained. Humans tend to use overwhelming force rather than elegant solutions. This explains much, Krell mused. Vegan. Intelligence reported that Dominion survivors described your weapons as impossibly crude but devastatingly effective. Amy laughed. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about human engineering. Jake made a decision. Admiral, I'll help you modify your weapons, but I want something in return. Name your price, Warrior Morrison. Stop calling me Warrior, and help us understand what we've gotten ourselves into. Krell looked puzzled. What do you mean? Pete answered for Jake. We accidentally became famous throughout the galaxy for turning mining equipment into weapons. Now everyone wants our help, solving their military problems. And we're just a small mining station, Lisa added. We're not equipped to handle requests from dozens of different alien civilizations. Dr. Shaw nodded. We need to understand the bigger picture. What has our victory at Ceres 7 really changed in the galaxy? Admiral Krell was quiet for a long moment, considering their question. Finally, he spoke with unusual seriousness. Warrior Morrison. Chief Morrison. Your victory has changed everything. For thousands of years, military superiority has been determined by technological advancement. The species with the most advanced weapons won the wars. And now? Jake asked. Now, every species knows that advanced technology can be defeated by creative thinking and brute force application. You have made technological superiority less important than tactical innovation. Amy realized the implications. We've leveled the playing field. smaller, less advanced species now have hope of defending themselves against bigger, more advanced enemies. Exactly, Krell confirmed. The galaxy is reshuffling its power structures. Old alliances are breaking apart. New ones are forming. And everyone wants humans as allies because you represent a new type of warfare. Jake looked around at his small group of friends and colleagues. They had started as simple miners trying to extract metals from asteroids. Now they were apparently reshaping galactic politics. "So what do we do?" he asked. Lisa smiled. "We do what we've always done. We solve problems with the tools we have available. And we help anyone who needs. Our particular brand of problem-solving," Amy added. Pete grinned. "Besides, it beats the old job of just digging holes in rocks." Admiral Krell stood and offered another formal salute. "Then I formally request the assistance of human engineers in developing weapons that can defeat regenerative enemies." K. Morrison, former mining engineer and accidental military innovator, returned the salute awkwardly. "Admiral, let's go turn your weapons into something the Crystalline Collective will never expect." As they began planning the modification of vegan military technology with human industrial principles, none of them could have predicted that this would be just the beginning of humanity's new role in the galaxy. The species that had turned a mining drill into a ship killer was about to become the most sought-after military advisors in known space. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the vegan battleship Thunder of War and tried not to think about how far he was from his comfortable mining station. The massive alien warship was 3 times larger than anything in Earth's fleet. But now it felt very small compared to the enemy they were about to face. "Contact on long-range sensors," announced Commander Zeth, Admiral Krell's second-in-command. "Crystalline Collective Fleet approaching. 12 ships. Heavy class." Amy Rodriguez looked up from the weapons console where she had been working for the past week. "Are the modifications ready?" "As ready as we can make them," Jake replied. He had spent 7 days straight adapting vegan military technology to work with human industrial principles. The results looked strange, but he hoped they would be effective. Admiral Krell studied the approaching enemy fleet through the ship's main viewer. The crystalline collective vessels were beautiful in a terrifying way. Each ship appeared to be carved from a single massive crystal, their faceted hulls reflecting starlight like giant jewels. But Jake knew that beauty was deceiving. "Remember," Krell told his bridge crew, "these enemies heal from damage. Normal weapons are useless. We must trust in human thinking." Pete Collins was monitoring the tactical display from his position at the security station. Even though this wasn't his ship, Admiral Krell had insisted that all the humans participate in the battle. "Jake, remind me again why we thought this was a good idea." "Because somebody has to test whether human industrial warfare works against regenerative enemies," Jake replied. "And apparently we're the somebody." Dr. Helen Shaw was recording everything from her science station. "This is historically significant. We're about to see if human engineering philosophy can defeat an enemy that conventional tactics cannot harm." The first crystalline ship opened fire at maximum range. Beams of pure energy lanced through space, striking the Vegan fleet's shields. The alien weapons were precise and powerful, exactly the kind of elegant technology that dominated most galactic warfare. "Return fire," Admiral Krell commanded. But instead of the usual focused energy beams that Vegan ships normally fired, the modified weapons unleashed something entirely different. Jake had adapted the ship's main guns to work like industrial equipment. Instead of single powerful shots, they fired continuous streams of energy designed to keep hitting the same target over and over again. "It's working!" Amy shouted as they watched the first crystalline ship try to cope with the sustained assault. The alien vessel's living crystal hull began to crack under the constant bombardment. But then something strange happened. "The damage is healing," Commander Zeth reported. "Their hull is repairing itself." "Not fast enough," Jake observed with satisfaction. The human-modified weapons kept firing, breaking the crystal faster than it could regenerate. That's the difference between military thinking and industrial thinking. Military weapons are designed to kill efficiently. Industrial tools are designed to keep working until the job is done. The first crystalline ship shuddered as Jake's modified weapons carved through its hull. The living crystal tried desperately to heal itself, but the continuous stream of energy prevented any lasting repairs. Within minutes, the alien vessel broke apart completely. "Impossible," Commander Zeth muttered. "We destroyed a crystalline ship. 1 down, 11 to go," Pete said grimly. The other crystalline vessels had seen what happened to their companion and were now approaching more cautiously. But Jake had prepared for this. He had modified not just the main weapons, but every system on the ship that could possibly be used as a weapon. "Amy, activate the mining protocol," Jake ordered. Amy grinned as she engaged the secondary modifications. Jake had turned the ship's industrial systems into weapons. Waste disposal units now fired streams of superheated metal. Construction beam projectors became cutting tools. Even the ship's food processors had been modified to launch projectiles at high velocity. "What are you doing?" Admiral Krell asked in amazement as his ship began firing from dozens of unexpected points. "Industrial warfare," Jake explained. "On a mining station, every system has to be able to handle multiple jobs. Why should military ships be different?" The crystalline fleet found itself under attack from weapons they had never encountered before. The Vegan ship wasn't just shooting at them with main guns, it was hitting them with everything from modified garbage disposal units to repurposed environmental systems. "Their regeneration can't keep up," Dr. Shaw observed with scientific fascination. "The sustained multi-directional damage is overwhelming their healing capabilities." Jake nodded. "That's the human approach. If one tool doesn't work, use 10 tools. If 10 tools don't work, use everything you have until something does work." The battle quickly turned into a rout. The crystalline ships designed to fight conventional military engagements had no defense against an opponent that treated every system as a potential weapon. Their beautiful crystal hulls cracked and shattered under the relentless assault from modified industrial equipment. "This is incredible," Admiral Krell said, watching another enemy ship break apart. "Your people have revolutionized warfare." "We didn't revolutionize anything," Jake protested. "We just applied mining techniques to military problems." Amy was monitoring the enemy fleet's communications. "They're trying to retreat, but their ships are too damaged to jump to hyperspace." "Should we pursue them?" Commander Zeth asked. Pete shook his head. "Let them go. They need to report back to their leaders about human-modified weapons. Word needs to spread." Dr. Shaw looked up from her instruments. "Actually, I'm picking up something interesting. The crystalline ships are broadcasting on multiple frequencies. They're not just reporting to their own fleet command." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "They're sending data about our weapons to other species. Technical specifications, battle recordings, tactical analysis. It's like they're sharing intelligence about human military capabilities with the entire galaxy." Admiral Krell considered this information. "That could be problematic. If our enemies know how our weapons work, they can develop countermeasures." Jake laughed. "Admiral, they're welcome to try. The thing about human engineering is that we don't just build one solution. We build as many solutions as we can think of, and then we build more. Besides, Amy added, they're analyzing the weapons we use today. By tomorrow, Jake will probably have thought of 12 new ways to modify ship systems that they've never seen before. Pete was studying the tactical display. Speaking of which, we should probably get back to Series 7. I'm betting there are more requests for human military assistance waiting for us. Dr. Shaw nodded. The victory here will spread even faster than the Series 7 incident. Every species in the galaxy will know that humans can defeat regenerative enemies, which means more visitors, more requests, and more problems for us to solve. Lisa Hart's voice came over the communication system from the mining station. Jake sighed. Sometimes I miss the days when my biggest problem was a broken drill bit. Admiral Krell placed a massive hand on Jake's shoulder. Chief Morrison, you have given the vegan empire a great victory. But more than that, you have given the galaxy a new way to think about conflict. How so? Jake asked. You have shown us that the most dangerous opponent is not the one with the best weapons, but the one who can turn anything into a weapon. Humans do not just fight wars, you industrialize them, Amy grinned. Industrialized warfare. I like that term. It describes what we do perfectly, Pete agreed. We take the human approach to everything and apply it to military problems. As the Vegan fleet began its journey back to friendly space, Jake looked out at the debris field that had once been a crystalline collective battle group. 12 enemy ships had been destroyed by weapons that had started as mining drills, waste disposal units, and food processors. Dr. Shaw, he said, make sure you document everything about this battle. How we modified the systems, why the tactics worked, what the enemy's weaknesses were. Planning to write a manual on human military engineering? She asked. No, Jake replied. I'm planning to make sure that the next time someone needs help with an impossible military problem, we'll be ready with an even more impossible solution. Admiral Krell overheard and smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Chief Morrison? I believe the galaxy is going to learn to fear human creativity even more than human weapons. Good, Jake said simply. Fear keeps people honest. As the thunder of war jumped to hyperspace, carrying news of another human military victory, Jake Morrison began planning his next impossible modification. Because in a galaxy full of species with advanced technology, someone had to be the one who proved that simple human stubbornness could overcome any obstacle.